to Accountable India. Today we have got Professor Tamoresh Kol, who is the Director of Emergency Medicine at Dr. G.Y. Patil Medical College, Hospital and Research Center, Pune, India. He is also the advisor for emergency care training at the Healthcare Sectors Council of India, past president of the Asian Society for Emergency Medicine, past president of the Society for Emergency Medicine India, and past chair of the Clinical Practice Committee of International Federation for Emergency Medicine. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you for inviting me to speak on this very important issue.
So tell me, Professor, how you came into this field of emergency medicine and this road safety. What brought you into this?
Yeah, it's very interesting story. So when I graduated, there was no formal specialty of emergency medicine in India. So I wanted to actually critical care and ICU care medicine. But one of my teacher and mentors said, this is a new upcoming field and this going to go and there is a need for society. So this is advice and I followed it and I took up this specialty. Later on, in last 25 years, it grew from there are almost 8 to 10,000 people practicing emergency medicine in India. And worldwide, there's the growth. But also there is public pressure for the need of emergency care because we lose a lot of people on our roads. We lose a lot of people outside the hospital, inside the hospital because of lack of proper emergency care and substandard care, so to say. So I came across the specialty as a young doctor and since then I'm practicing it. And I think every day it's a learning and facing the real situation and crisis, so to say, in this country. For road safety, I must say, this gentleman, Mr. Piyush Tiwari, who is the founder of a non-profit organization. I met him in New Delhi in one of the training session, and later on we started working together. And he was actually kind of one of my inspiration. This social issue very seriously and working closely with a lot of other organizations till today for the issue of road safety.
So, how would you describe the current state of road safety in India?
So I would say road safety in India is at a crisis point and the numbers are not in our favor. While the country is growing and we are trying to, improve our economy and we're trying to go as a country, but we are losing almost 1.68 lakh people every year.
One
Day,
Yeah.
1.68 lakh. And if you translate it to per day, so in 2023, India reported about 4.6 lakh road accidents. And it is more than 1,250 accidents per day, which is a huge number. And we are losing almost 3% of our GDP just because of road accident and the lives lost and the damage being done in our roads. And that is not a sign of a developed nation. And we must address this on a war footing basis.
So, as India accounts for the 11% of the world's road accident, despite having just 1% of the global vehicles, what are the main factors that contribute to this very grave situation?
So it's a combination of factors. First of all, as a country, we are constructing roads at a tremendous speed, and the number of vehicles on the roads are increasing in a very rapid way. And that's what on any country which is developing. But we also have very poor road design in many parts of the country. We also have poor enforcement of the and from the public point of view, it's a combination of risky driving, which includes overspeeding and drunk driving. So these are combination of factors which is leading to these high number of deaths despite having less percentage of roads in our country.
Are there any recent accidents or data points that you think that highlight the urgency of this issue?
So there is no particular incident, but we can see in urban settings, if you see in the weekends, there'll be always, if you look into the newspapers on Sundays and Mondays, you will see the lives are lost on the roads, especially the young generation. Most of them are, due to drunk driving, overspeeding, speed cars. The roads are not ready. The behaviors is risky. So the urban accidents are also increasing. Traditionally, we had very high speed collisions in the highways, which is a factor. There are a lot of things moving, but the number of accidents in cities which are increasing, that's a matter of great concern.
Okay. So, can you share a real life story that illustrates that human cost of poor road safety?
I will tell you, in many, many years back in the city of Hyderabad, I was working at Apollo Hospital. And I still remember a night on Saturday, uh, I was on the night shift. And suddenly I saw there was one gentleman who was brought in late with an accident and accompanied by friends and a young lady. And unfortunately, by the time I have seen him, he passed away. He was brought dead to the hospital. So this was like a group of people who were returning from restaurants in those days. And on one turn, all of them were on two-wheelers. None of them was wearing helmet. And this young man fell, and behind was his wife. They were newly married. And for next half an hour, I had great difficulty to explain them, especially his wife, that he is no more. And I still remember that night. And, and his friends later on understood that it was a risky ride for all of them. And, any of them could have been the victim. But we lost that young guy who was a uh, techie, was a young husband and a loving citizen. And I still remember that night. And that, I think, is happening every night somewhere in the country.
So, it's basically that road accidents affect just not victims, but their families and communities in the long run. That is why it is a social kind of problem rather being an individual section of a society.
Yes, it's a social problem. And sometimes, especially in India, the accident, the male, males are more prone to accident and younger generation. So if that person is a breadwinner for the family, suddenly the income, is wiped out and the family starts suffering. So it's a mental problem, loss of life. It's a financial disaster as well as, so it has got three, four aspects in terms of effect in our society.
Okay. So, in your experience, are there certain groups like pedestrians, cyclists, or two wheelers who are more prone to risk than the other sections of the people?
Yeah, yeah. So as you know, in any Indian roads, if you just see the number of two wheelers are much more than the cars, and the number of pedestrians who are walking by the side of the road, they are just walking almost on the road because of the lack of footpaths. Footpaths are occupied by other businesses and things like that. So in India, if you look into statistics, over 44% of the road fatalities, they occurred in two-wheeler riders and the pedestrians. So these are the majority of the people who passed away because of accidents. And in two wheelers, you must have going in the cities, in different cities in India. In very few cities, you will see the helmet rule is strictly enforced.
Right.
Uh, even if the rider is the driver is wearing the helmet, you will see the pillion riders who are equally affected. They are not wearing any helmets. And if you see kids, they are never wearing helmets.
Okay.
Serious issues, and I think we need to take this very seriously.
So, we need to incorporate these things in the urban planning aspect of the governance, I think.
Yes, we need to start with education at the school level and bring it to the societal level, and then include that into governance. This should be part of road safety should be part of good governance. Most of the time, what I see is we are focusing on post-crash response. We are looking into good ambulance service, how soon we can bring the victim to the hospital and things like that. But we have very little attention to the prevention of road accident, which is enforcing helmet laws, overspeeding, which is the major cause of accidents in India, drunken driving, and now with the new technology, usage of mobile phones, smartphones, driving. So these things can be tackled by education, social ramification, as well as by strict governance.
Okay. So, can you tell us what are the three top major causes of the road accidents in India?
So the most important cause and the most frequent is overspeeding. 70% of fatalities is overspeeding. Next is drunken driving, and the third is distracted driving, which I just described to you, especially the
Mobile phones.
These are top three causes. Even if you see, I've seen people who are driving two-wheeler within the helmet, they are putting the mobile phones
Yeah.
and talking while driving. Such is the low level of awareness, and therefore these accidents do occur.
Can you tell us how much of the problem is due to poor road infrastructure versus the driver behavior?
I think it's a combination of both. See,
Okay.
if you have poor roads, you will have accidents because of the road infrastructure, potholes and things like that, and especially when you are overspeeding in poor roads. But look at some of the cities which has built very good roads around the cities, like ring roads. I'll take an example of the city of Hyderabad. It has constructed a very beautiful outer ring, and that outer ring road people are dying. That's because they're overspeeding with two wheelers and trying to race against each other and things like that, facing accidents. So it's both way. If you have poor roads, you will definitely going to have accidents. But if you have good roads and if you have risky driving, you're going to go very high speed accidents, high velocity collisions, in which the fatality increases.
Okay. Are enforcement and penalties for traffic violations strong enough to deter such things, such practices unsafe?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that, some of us, and you may have traveled to, countries like, I will not go to US, UK. You go to Dubai, you see the enforcement. They do have accidents, but you see the enforcement. If you cross one signal with overspeeding, you will get an automatic challan in your account and it will be deducted. And second thing is lane culture. In India, the problem is that every vehicle is moving like a snake. So the next one will not anticipate which direction the other vehicle will move, and everybody seems to be in a hurry. But if you compare, the countries which have reduced they follow strict lane culture. I think is not only putting fines but also promote safe driving, which is important. So there is no fine for lane violation in India. I mean, I don't know. There is hardly any governance on the helmet use. In certain states, yes, helmet use is looked at very strictly, but most of the country, they say they are moving in a very slow speed.
Right.
Doesn't protect you from accidents. So even if you are moving in a speed of 20, 30 kilometers and you fall down, a significant chance of head injury. And if you have a head injury, your rest of the life, you can be paralyzed. So people should take this very seriously. It's just not about, driving. It is about your own life, which needs to be explained, which needs to be reinforced.
So let's talk about some solutions. What are the proven interventions that have reduced road accidents in other countries? How we can learn from other countries?
I think two examples I'll give you. One from a country which is like Sweden. It has got Vision Zero policy, which includes three, four things: better road design, strict enforcement, and public accountability. The public is made accountable for road behaviors. That is a very big learning. So Sweden has reduced, its road accident to a large extent by following this Vision Zero policy. So that's a country where you may say there are less people. It may not match to countries like us. But let me give you an example of Vietnam. Poor country, limited resources, lots of two-wheelers like ours. They were noticing an increased number of death of kids.
Well, Professor Saab, please tell us what are the proven solutions that has been successful in other countries and what India can learn from them. Okay. So it's what can be done on the cultural side of this problem. So do you think we should have a recertification driving license kind of a thing in India? Right. So what should be the criteria of REIT certification? Like many countries, they put that if you have got 3 violations, your license is to be cancelled, things like that. In India, it is necessary, you think? Okay. So if you have got one message, what that one message would be to every Indian road user? So let's sum it up and let's do some rapid fire kind of a thing. So one biggest myth about road safety in India.
So it is like accident. People say accident just happened. In reality, they are preventable events. We can prevent that.
So every accident is more or less preventable. One single habit that can save lives. One thing the government should do immediately to cut fatalities. One nation, one rule. Right. So thank you very much, Professor Saab, for enlightening us about the road safety issues in India. We'll have some time more detailed and specific discussions on that. Thank you very much. Thank you from Accountable India. Thank you. Thank you.